Welcome to the Preparing for Retirement series. In this presentation, we will be talking about part 2 of the series titled The Busy Years. This presentation will include strategies for those that are in their accumulation years between age 30 and 50. For people in this category, retirement may still seem like it is a ways away. However, now is one of the most important times in your savings life to know how to properly fund your retirement account. Throughout this presentation, we will show you what steps you need to take in order to prepare yourself financially for retirement. So let's start by taking a look at some evidence as to why people need to focus their effort on savings. Looking at this graph, you can see that out of all workers, 43% have saved less than $10,000 for retirement. And for the 30 to 50 year olds, it's right around 50%. That number is way too high. If 30 to 50 year olds have less than $10,000 saved for retirement, they're going to have to save more now in order to get to where they need to be at retirement than as they would if they had started saving a little bit more back in their 20s and 30s. People need to do this now because Social Security is not going to make up your entire pre-retirement salary. It will only cover a small portion. As you can see with this example, for an individual retiring at age 66 in 2011, and let's look at the second to the bottom bar, if this person made $40,000 annually before they retired, all that they would receive from the Social Security Administration is just under $14,000 a year. Now, if you plan on living off of Social Security alone, that is a large change to your budget. You'll have to drastically change the way you live in order to accommodate this new level of income. And that's why we say it's extremely important to save for retirement as early on as possible and as much as possible. Regardless, there are quite a few risks that this age group faces in saving for retirement. Ensuring that you are saving enough for your retirement is often put to the side. Many times, people in this age category have too many other things to worry about than planning for their future. Saving for college tuition is another big one. With the cost of tuition rising 8% per year on average, the cost of tuition will double every 9 years. This can be very daunting for those parents who are wanting to help fund their child's future education. However, college savings plans have been a great help to many families who would like to help in the future education of their children. As this generation ages, you'll also want to think about planning your estate. Having a will, a living trust, and all necessary documents put together can greatly help with this aspect of your lives. Spending in debt. This category will probably cause the most tension in many Americans' personal lives. With the divorce rate at 50%, the leading cause of divorce is obviously money issues. This is not new news, but you can do something to prevent this from becoming a problem. It is important these days for two-income households to work together on their finances. Making sure you have a budget in place and that you can communicate effectively on spending and reducing debt is key to surviving a financial crisis and having a successful marriage. Market risk. As we have all seen throughout the recession of 2008-2009, market risk can be very scary and have a profound effect on our retirement plan. Making sure you have an appropriate allocation in your retirement and investment accounts will ensure your risk level isn't too high or too low to obtain the types of returns you need in order to reach your financial goals. So how do we get there? How do we get to a place in our lives where we are comfortable with the amount we have saved and how we will use that money for our future? Well, here we have some best strategies to help you get on the road to success. One of the biggest things you can do is pay yourself first. By taking this step, you really need to put as much away as you can into your retirement savings. That's how you pay yourself first, by contributing to your retirement plan. If you're currently maxing out your retirement savings in your company-sponsored retirement plan, or your company doesn't have a retirement plan, you should then put additional dollars into an individual retirement account or a Roth IRA. The earlier you start saving, the better off you'll be is an extremely important concept to understand. Waiting just 5 years to start saving for retirement can impact your total dollar amount at time of retirement by $100,000 or more. Again, making sure your investment strategy is in line with your risk tolerance and your time horizon will be your best bet in getting maximum returns on your invested dollars in your retirement plans. So here's an example of how your employer match can help your retirement savings. As I said on the previous slide, starting to save as early as possible is extremely important. Take for instance this example. Participant A starts investing at age 30 and contributes $20,000 in a 10-year time period, and then lets it sit within the market. Participant B, however, decided that they weren't able to save right away, but then 10 years down the road started to contribute at age 40, investing $2,000 for 25 years for a total of $52,000. As you can see, Participant A still comes out ahead at retirement age because Participant A has more time for those funds to compound and grow. Aside from the dollars that you put into your plan, some of your plans may allow for employer matching dollars to be contributed to the plan as well. So let's look at an example of how employer matching dollars can help your account balance grow. As you can see, the employer match can be very beneficial to your account over a long period of time. This graph looks at the growth of a dollar over 20 years. Without a company match, your dollar would only be worth $40.53 over the previous 20 years. However, if your employer has a 50% match, meaning for every dollar that you put in, the employer will give you 50 cents, then your dollar would now be worth $62.13 over this past 20 years. This is a great example to show that you as a participant in your company-sponsored retirement plan should take full advantage of your employer matching dollars that they have available to you. Another option you have within your retirement plan is how much you want to contribute to your account. A goal you should set for yourself over a longer period of time is continually increasing your contribution to your retirement plan. Here's a chart showing how much this can have an effect on your retirement plan balance over different periods of time. Over a 30-year time frame, for example, you could save an extra $250,000 if you were to increase your contribution from 2% to 10%. This just shows that small sacrifices now can add up to large dollar amounts in the future. So how much do you want to have? Now within your retirement plan, you can put away as much as possible for 30 years, but if you don't have the proper investment strategy in place, then you won't be maximizing the potential you have within your account to grow your money by not having an appropriate asset allocation and diversification set up within your plan. Now you don't have to be an expert to invest successfully. We have here a couple simple investing strategies that will put you down the right path to successful investing within your retirement plan. The first investing strategy we want to talk about is asset allocation. How much of your money you're going to invest between the three main investment categories: stocks, bonds, and money markets. Most people know what a stock is. When you buy stock of a company, you're buying part ownership in that company. Out of these three options, stocks are typically going to be the most volatile. Bonds, on the other hand, is really like you loaning your money out to the U.S. government or an individual corporation for them to use throughout a specific period of time. All the while, they'll typically pay you interest along the way and return your money that you loan them at a specific date and time in the future. Bonds typically are considered a little bit less volatile than stocks. Then our most conservative option is money market. This is more like a savings account where it's very safe but also very low return as well. And this pyramid shows you the risk versus return for all three of these options. As you can see on the left, as you move up the pyramid, the more risk you take. On the right, though, you can also see that typically the more risk you take, you can also typically expect more return over a longer period of time. And so again, all asset allocation is trying to decide how much you want to put into stocks, bonds, and money market. Do you want to have 40% in stocks, 50% in bonds, and 10% in money market? Trying to figure out an asset allocation like that can be tricky. One option we do have for you to employ would be to take an investor questionnaire, which if you go out to our website, www.ubtrust.com/education, you can find our investor questionnaire on there and complete that to help you see what an appropriate allocation would be for yourself. The other important strategy we want to talk about is diversification. Basically all diversification is that you don't want to put all your eggs into one basket. And this is pretty representative with this chart here. Each of the different colors on this chart represent one of the main categories that people typically have available to invest in within their retirement plan. On this chart you can see one color would represent large cap stocks, which are the largest companies in America. Another will represent mid cap stocks or medium sized companies in America. We also have small cap stocks, smallest companies in America, international stocks, or companies that fall outside the U.S. We also have one that represents bonds, as well as money market. The way this chart works is we're looking at a 10-year time period from 2000 to 2009. During any given year, the best performers are up top, and the worst performers are on the bottom. One example we can look at is international stocks. If you look at on the left-hand side and follow it across to the right, you can see in the beginning it's one of the worst performers, then jumps up over the next couple of years and is the best performer for 4 years straight. Then in 2008, when we hit a recession, being one of the more aggressive options, international stocks took the biggest fall with a negative 43% return. But then in 2009, it came back with a solid return of 32.5%. As you can see with international stocks, there's a lot of ups and downs, and we really don't need to have that within your retirement plan, because the ultimate goal of diversification is to invest in multiple colors as opposed to just one. Thereby, when one is down, like international stocks was here in early 2000s, others will be up, helping to offset those losses, and over time create a picture that should look more like this. Strong, steady growth with a lot less risk within your plan. That really is the ultimate key of diversification, is to reduce the amount of risk you have within your investments, all the while producing strong, stable returns. Another strategy you can employ is to eliminate as much debt as possible. To do so, creating a budget can be tough to do, but is one of the most useful tools available to you. Also, determining your needs versus wants will be an integral part of your budget. Knowing what to spend your money on and what you can cut out of your life is very important. And as always, within your budget, make sure to pay yourself first by allocating some money to your retirement and savings account. In summary, you need to look at the big picture. You need to understand all the risks you face in your life right now, and you need to be able to manage those risks, whether it be through budgeting or just taking more of an active interest in the family finances. Continue to put as much away into your retirement plan as possible. Try and increase your contribution each year if you aren't already maxing out your contributions. And finally, keep an eye on the prize. Retirement may be 20 to 30 years away, but as with everybody, it will be here before we know it. So prepare now, save now, and reap the benefits then. This concludes our presentation on preparing for retirement. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact a member of our financial education team. Thank you for joining us today.